Gotta make sure this microphone's on. I know the other microphone was on, but yep, the microphone's on. So I'll check YouTube. I know Greg's coming in, so I'll switch that back. There's Greg. Now, do we got audio, Greg?
Yep. Yeah.
You're breaking up.
Got audio, but I'm getting video. I see how to get the.
So can you, if you can hear, Josh, tell him what to do.
Yeah. If you just click on that little silhouette of that stick person that's on your screen, if you click on that, you have to enable permissions. There you go.
Now the audio's breaking.
It just must.
If you now rotate it horizontal, like we did. It's there, but it just doesn't want
Other
to.
person. Participant staff. That's there, but it just. Record. Other guys, that's the black screen with names, you know.
I've got you, but the audio's muffled. Like you had the audio at one point. Do you know what? It was really good that one.
Yeah, I've got a couple of speakers on. Let me turn the speaker.
That might be it. And go close the house like you did to get the thingy.
Okay, we're live there. I'm just checking.
So, you know, you've heard of Tiny and Roxy. Well, you got Biggie and Foxy here.
Well, just so you know, your audio just went awesome.
Oops. Yep, just went off. Audio just went off.
Nope, you're on. You're on.
Nope, it's perfect.
Yeah, your audio is perfect.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah. Yes,
Yes, we can.
Yeah, those speakers were probably interfering.
They were, but I still don't have any video.
You don't see us, we just see you.
I see a blank screen that says Tiny and one says Josh. So
We can see you.
We could see you.
now can you see me?
We see you. So yes, and we hear you really well. So if you can't see us.
Whoa, wait a second. Video filters. Let me do that. None. What the?
I wonder how to see them.
Okay. Backgrounds, blur. I don't know what the heck is doing.
He flipped his camera. We see your backyard.
Yep, send your camera back over.
Wait a minute, hit the camera.
There you
There you go.
Woo! There we can see you now.
You can see me now.
And we can hear you.
That's great because I can't see you guys, but whatever.
Well, we're ugly, so nobody wants to see us.
Yeah, you just saw me, Greg. So you know
that's okay, John. Yeah, but I'm it's this damn technology is pissing me off. So
well,
yeah.
So we're live on Facebook. Oh. So use your other phone that you have there and watch it on Facebook. No, it's going to be delayed.
I'll just go to Facebook, okay?
Yeah. But you're good right now if you want to just talk a little bit. I mean, we see you. Can you hear us?
I like to talk, as you know, but I like to see who I'm talking to. So that's okay.
All right. That's okay.
No problem. That's just, hey, thank you for chiming me in. And again, I love Josh and all the Wisco guys, and wish I could get up there to see him this summer, but sounds like that's not going to happen because my travel's kind of been curtailed because of expenses.
Well,
there we go.
That's all right.
We're gonna try and get Josh to come down for the bus tour.
We got you on Facebook.
And then we'll just visit you. We'll just visit you.
Yeah,
that works too. But yeah.
And I'm gonna see you in a couple Mondays.
Oh, is that right?
Great.
Yeah, that pick. I know that's Bardstown. It's not like you're traveling.
What pick?
The pick for the Kentucky Bourbon Festival at 9:30 Monday, June 3rd.
For Chicken Cock?
Yep, we'll both be there, me and CT.
That's nice because I wasn't invited.
Well, you know what? Hey, you know I'm inviting you.
No, it's June 3rd.
I will get Stacy to invite you. I will get Randy to invite you, and we're inviting you. So I don't care what the hell's happening at all. I don't want to go there without you. You can be a Scotchy Bourbon Boy. Don't show up as don't show up as the master distiller. Show up as part of my group.
Okay.
I think I can't see you not getting an invitation to that. That it just hasn't happened yet. I know Stacy just set it up. They were trying, it just happened. She let me know because she was working the dates with me.
Okay. Well, let's see where this goes because communication's a wonderful tool when it's used right. So I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, I'll make sure that they reach out to you too.
Yeah.
And then also, we're working on getting that bus tour, so I'll let you know when that is. And if they're not letting you travel, if they're not, in September, that Wednesday, but if they're not going to have you travel to Kentucky Bourbon Festival, come on the bus tour with us.
Yeah, it might be expensive for you, but I'm sorry.
What?
See, I'm teasing.
I'll comp your ticket if you come.
No. You know better than that, man. You guys you're my brother. I wouldn't do that.
All right. So yeah, we love you, man.
Likewise, buddy. Just times can be challenging, and you persevere and come out on top. So.
Yeah, Josh has his pick right in front of the camera, which you can imagine, and I've got the small batch.
I'm sorry. So yeah, Susan's got her phone. I'm gonna let her pull up the Facebook. So you got the barrel pick there. You guys did, Josh?
The first one. We don't have. We won't have the other one.
Did at the bar? No, not the one. The first one we did, not the one we did down in Bardstown.
Right. Yep. This is the other one. Yep.
Because I saw that on Facebook here not too long ago as well. I said, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah. As it should be. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, sir.
That's great.
It's a great pick.
Yeah, likewise. It was a great pick, and it's interesting to kind of see the dynamics of anytime we do barrel picks, to see people's, and that's what I do. I just, I taste it and I pick my own, but I love watching the people involved in the picks. I love watching their eyes, their expressions, their reactions, and when they go back and forth, trying to examine one from the other. I love watching that experience. It's pretty cool to me. So.
Yeah, it's same with me. My favorite thing is actually taking people on picks because you take it for granted, like me and Jeff and a lot of other people. We've been on multiple picks, but when you get somebody that's never been on one, it's really fun because I experience it the same way you do.
Well, it was cool because we had such a large group. I mean, I think that was the largest group I've ever been involved with a pick, and it was just and it's just so cool to see dynamics. Everybody had their own opinions and their own thoughts, and that's the way it should be. Again, there is no right answer. Everybody has their own palate, their own nose, and the way it evolves. It's pretty cool to see how that transition. But that day was pretty special, and I'll never forget it, man. It was so much fun with you guys, so appreciate it.
Yeah, that was cool. That was an awesome event. Hopefully you got that barrel home in one piece.
Well, hopefully they get a bottle in one piece and get it out to you guys in the right amount of time, but we'll see. So,
all right,
awesome.
It's we look forward to all the stuff that's coming. I know that you were talking about next year probably bottling those barrels, but I look forward to doing that. Our standard yearly taste of the evolution of what your 4-year distillate, which was 3 years last year, is now 4 years, and I can't wait to taste it.
It is, Jeff. Yeah, it's 4 years now. Yeah, I don't think we've bottled any of it yet. You know, everything we're bottling now with the small batch, the flagship bourbon, it's all 2019, 2018, or a blend thereof. The small batch, actually, I'm kind of combining some 2018 with some 2019. Again, trying to find the honey barrels, a sweet spot of the microclimates within the warehouse. And I'm telling you what, I am so proud of the way this small batch has turned out. It's just, it's we can't bottle it fast enough. That's the only problem. So whatever. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I got a few of them. I like them.
yeah, good.
we all have a few of them. I just saw the announcement of the Double Oak 9-year. That looks exciting.
Yeah, you know, same stuff we came out with last year's 8-year. The 9-year came out. I think the Garden Gun Club. We did a 9-year for the Garden Gun Club. Of course, you saw it, Jeff. We did the 9-year with the New Orleans Bourbon Festival as well. We did a barrel on the 9-year, and then the Garden Gun Club. We did a couple of barrels of that. And I mean, it's a high price product. It's selling like fire. I mean, but it got a double gold, I believe, last week at the San Francisco competition. So yeah, it's showing its muster. So that's good.
That's
Is that's the one with the green label, right?
No, that's the Kevin Kistner.
The Gardening Gun has a kind of a beige label to it, Josh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could dig for it because I do have that New Orleans Bourbon Festival pick, but I got that put up. Because Greg Schneider signed every single bottle, and you should have seen it. I think I remember you signing those bottles at Kentucky Bourbon Festival a couple of years ago when it was like when we had to get you fans. Remember that, where Nash got the fan system? You were just sweating and dripping. But I think you went to New Orleans and you're like, what? I have to sign them all?
Well, no, I planned on signing them all. I didn't know I had to go behind the curtain and back in the warehouse where all the cases were stacked and unstack every case and open the tape and open every
what?
Yeah,
you don't have you got to have people for that.
But anyway, it all worked out. I mean, I love Tracy Nepatalo and his wife Barbara. We had a great time. I mean, it was just a fun event. It just didn't evolve the way that I was led to believe. I thought I'd be able to sit at our booth and sign bottles. And unfortunately, the laws of Louisiana didn't allow that. I thought I could sit up at the table where they were selling the bottles and sign bottles, but likewise, that didn't play out either. So, you know, you adjust, you're flexible, you do what you got to do. But it all worked out. It was a great event. Hopefully we can get back again next year. Yeah,
afterwards he needed a back brace.
I need Carlos. That's another story. So.
Right. So you're good now, Greg? You want to stick around?
That doesn't matter, buddy. Whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah, we definitely want you to stick around. But I got to get it started. So let's get this thing going. All right. You ready, Josh, to get this started? Where did Josh go? Did we lose Josh? He just froze.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I could hear you. I think you froze up for a second video-wise, but that's okay. All right. So we're going to do there'll be a spot, and then you're going to hear the theme song, and we'll get going. All right? Here we go.
Yes, sir. Lost him.
I'm still here.
You still there?
Oh yeah. I'm just being quiet because I know Jeff's got his little music thing to do and stuff. So
bring you guys in, but I don't think I can. I lost. Hold on. Can't bring it up. Jesus. Okay, there we go. No, that's. Okay. You still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're Scotchy Bourbon Boys, raising hell and making some noise. Yeah, we're Scotchy Bourbon Boys, we're here to have fun and hope you enjoy. We're here to have fun. Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to another podcast of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Tonight we have a special podcast lined up for you. We have Josh Charleston of Wisco Bourbon. You guys on audio don't know it, but we're both wearing our Wisco Bourbon shirts tonight. And then we also have a special guest, Greg Schneider, master distiller of Chicken Cock Whiskey. He's on tonight because both our groups love Greg and do spend a lot of time with Greg. And Greg, you have to flip your camera from one because I'm not seeing you. I see your backyard. There you go. Now we see you. We can see you. You can't see us, but we can hear you. So that's a good thing, right? A good thing. There you go. All right, we're www.scotchybourbonboys.com for all things Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Check us out there. And then all the podcast formats, Apple, iHeart, Spotify. Those are all the different ways you can, hook up with the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. But I'm excited tonight because, Josh, we did this podcast once before, right? So it's kind of like what I love about when you said you wanted to come back on. What I love about it is that you're one of my direct ties to bourbon back in my home state where I grew up, spent my first 40 years there, then moved to Canton, Ohio for Football Fest instead of Summerfest. But bourbon is what I have really gotten a passion for here, but it's so much fun to have the ties back to you guys, in the area of everywhere that's familiar to me, so that's one of the reasons why I love to have you on.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Thanks for allowing me to come on again.
So, running a group, that's the one thing that, and it's like, Greg, you can chime into what the groups mean, but running a group is something that I think a lot of people don't realize. The people that when you're on Facebook or and you're signing up for a group or whatever, you kind of click a button and then you get to know the people, and then they can have events, and you come to go to the events, but talk about how much work it is to run a group. And then also where we're similar, when things start to run and they're running and you got kind of people helping and doing things and how to do it, we both seem to always want more, like add more. And it's like, talk about how that's, that experience of what you're doing, as a group, as you run one of the largest groups on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, thanks. I mean, it is really challenging to run a group, so I started Wisco Bourbon back in 2020, right before COVID shut down the world. So honestly, I think I started Wisco Bourbon February 20th of 2020. So like literally March 1st, everything was beginning to shut down. So it was more a little bit into March, maybe like March 7th, 10th, that's when really the world was shutting down. But that being said, I really started it because I went to an event, a bourbon tasting, and I kind of enjoyed it. I was new into bourbon, and I really didn't know what I was tasting or how I was supposed to drink it or anything like that. So literally after that event, I went home that night. The event ended at like 8 o'clock, and by like 9:30 at night, I decided that I was going to start my own group because I was very curious into the bourbon world and whiskey world and try to get some information. That's really what it kind of started as. So started from inviting a few of my close friends, and believe it or not, just over 4 years later, we got about 11,000 members now. So that was quite a process to get to where we are. A lot of help, like you said, a lot of friends, meeting people like Greg. I mean, it's all been an amazing experience. We started out doing tasting events, so I got to meet a lot of people that had joined our group that were like-minded. I have dozens of friends now from Wisco Bourbon that I consider very, very close friends that go to Kentucky with them, hang out with them, know their families, their kids, do other things outside of bourbon with them. So it's really a family affair. And then, you know, it really is, it takes a team effort. I kind of got an army in the background of moderators and people. But Wisco Bourbon is also a legitimate LLC as well. So it is actually a business. I run it as a business too. The club helps drive that business, but ultimately a lot of the things that we do also benefit charities and such. We've done about 26 single barrel picks with my group as well, 2 of which are with Greg and Chicken Cock. So really try to support Wisconsin distilleries as well. I think over half of our picks are from Wisconsin distilleries as well. And there's some really good bourbon and whiskey in Wisconsin as well. We got some great distilleries. Let me try to think of what else. And then just with the tasting events and everything else, I do work full time, just like you do too, Jeff. So like I would say on average, I spend 40 hours a week on Wisco Bourbon. And I basically run the page and the Instagram completely myself. We also do have a Discord that I have people running for me. And then the Facebook Wisco Bourbon Club, which is the kind of everyday posting place. I do chime in as Wisco Bourbon quite often as well. So it's been an amazing adventure up to this point here. What's really cool is just recently just launched 2 new products. So Wisco Bourbon Caramel Corn and a Wisco Bourbon infused Rice Krispie treat. So pretty cool. Just launched those and it's doing really well. It's going to be in several retailers in my area and across the state of Wisconsin. I actually just had a meeting with Sean, the owner of the distillery, just before this Zoom, and all our stuff will be in there too. So it's really exciting. Like you said, Jeff, like once it kind of settles down and kind of runs itself, you want more, you know?
I don't know why. You know, I'm actually not that anything's set in stone, but I'm working with a couple people right now, and we are talking about to get onto a streaming TV channel. So doing a
that's
show,
cool.
and then that's going to take it into a different level if we're going to actually do a show. We do the podcast. You can put that up. We do tons of shorts. I do experiences, which I usually put up on YouTube. Like if we go to New Orleans, I put something up like that. Or if I spend multiple times with Mr. Greg Schneider right here, I will piece them all together to promote the Chicken Cock brand, and then also Greg, because I've seen and heard how he talks about Chicken Cock, and it was kind of cool to be able to get him in all the different settings, that kind of thing. So that's exciting, but just that alone, it could turn our LLC into a really good money-making and investment adventure. But at the same time, the work, I only can imagine how I'm going to be able to keep that up with also running the YouTube, the Facebook, and and the podcast all at once, and then try and do, like, we do barrel picks also, but for me being you guys are in Wisconsin, but for me being in Ohio, barrel picks are tooth extractions.
It's really regulated, right?
Well, it's not just it's regulated. You go down and you do the pick, and the state tells you go there. You have the really good experience. But I think our Elijah Craig, we picked September 11th last year, and it did not. It was not ready till February 27th, or it could have even been we're in April, right? So it was March. It wasn't the week. Yeah, it was March 13th is when I was in New Orleans is when it came in.
We're in May.
What?
We're in May right now.
Yeah, and this was March when it came in.
That's crazy.
We're talking September, October, November, December, January, February. So 8 months before we actually got the product. And then it came in when I was in New Orleans. So I had to push it off a couple more weeks before I think that we had our pickup in April. So, and then trying to if you do a pick where it's not something that's in Ohio, that's in itself a whole challenge in itself also.
Yeah.
You gotta try. The goal is to try and stay out of jail.
Yeah. I've waited as long as 7 months. I did a Jefferson's pick once, and it took 7 months to get it. So one thing I figured out is I don't talk about any of the picks until I have a delivery date.
Well,
you know what I mean?
For me, I'm still at the point where I have to pre-sell them, so I appreciate it. And then that was a short barrel, so it went to 72 bottles is all it yielded. So there was about 60 people waiting for it to come in to purchase it, and because it was through the state of Ohio, but no one got a chance to purchase it. It was sold out in pre-sale. Actually, when they told me it was 72 bottles, I had sold 78 in pre-sale, but I was lucky because 10 of them were to Nash. So I just backed him off to a couple bottles. But the whole thing, I ended up with only 1 bottle to drink and 1 bottle to put up. That's it. Everything else was to everybody else. So those are the kind of things.
Yeah, I'll need a sample of that just so you know.
Well, I'll bring it.
All right. Yeah,
cool. Now I'm coming in July. I'm hopefully will be there by the 4th of July, and I'm staying through that weekend and then the whole next week. What we should do is do some sort of a get together, maybe a bottle share someplace.
Yeah, that would be no problem. We could do that at one of my partners' places, no problem. That would just be a free thing. Come and enjoy, and
yeah,
we could do something like
that. Yeah, that would be great.
That'd be very easy to do. I know I know a lot of people in Wisco Bourbon follow you too. Like Dario. You know several people. I know.
Yeah.
So, it'd be fun to do. That was nice when you came that one time, and
yeah, and I should have my brand is actually the launch and there, and we did the pick with him. Those 2 barrels we picked are the last thing. He didn't go back into the distillery after that. So that's he's at his new distillery. So Greg, talk about how we as groups, have been so supportive and just love what you do.
Yeah, well, let's go back to one of Josh's first comments, about the camaraderie and the support and the fellowship. That's what I've loved about the industry from day one. I started in this industry in 1978, so been doing it a while. And again, I've told this story numerous times, but when I was growing up in the industry and it kind of achieved a higher level of management responsibility, there was probably eight distilleries in the state of Kentucky, major distilleries, and we had a brotherhood. We respected the competition, whether it was Beam or Brown Foreman or Heaven Hill or Wild Turkey, whatever, Barton. But at the same token, as I tell people, if I had a motor that burned out, say on my cooker agitator, my mash tub agitator, I could call anybody in the distillery. If I didn't have a spare, I could call anybody in the state of Kentucky who ran a distillery. And if they had one, they'd throw it in a truck and run it to us. And we did that every week. We took care of each other. We respected the competition. The sales and marketing groups were more let's say cutthroat, more competitive, but we took care of each other. We had a brotherhood. And so, that's kind of the beauty of this industry. Now that it's grown, there's a lot of other small distilleries. They don't understand that relationship, but at the end of the day, I think we still kind of look after each other on the operation side of it. As far as the value, again, whether it's Wisco, whether it's Scotchy Bourbon Boys, Jeff, I've told you guys this a million times, and I've told the guys at Wisco as well. I deeply appreciate what you do for the industry. This industry, I got into 1978 when it was declining, and it bottomed out in the 1980s. And to see where it was in the 1950s, 1960s, to see where it ended up, and then to see it resurge. Again, this industry, like all alcoholic beverages, are cyclical. Whether it's vodka, whether it's gin, whether it's rum, whether it's bourbon, it's cyclical. And so, probably I don't know, 12, 14 years ago, the industry took an uptick and it just skyrocketed. And so it's great. But I think part of the success behind that upward movement, is attributed to you guys like you, whether it's Wisco or Scotchy Bourbon Boys. You guys do so much to promote the industry, whether it's chicken cock whiskey or whatever brand. You guys have done a great job of getting out there and talking about it and sharing it and exposing it to people who probably wouldn't otherwise have been exposed to it. So, yeah, for that, I thank you. I appreciate you. And you guys know I love you both. I've had such an amazing run in this industry over the past 46 years. But to meet guys, like Jeff Mueller and Josh Charleston and everybody within your groups, I mean, it's such a blessing. I get to add to my list of friendships. And so it's great. And I appreciate you guys so much. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. I mean, and if anybody's, anybody that's watching us, if you've had the pleasure of meeting Greg, he's just salt of the earth type of person, and it's amazing. I mean, we take a annual trip down to Kentucky yearly, and he always makes time to see us. And anybody new we bring, he takes us on a tour, and it's those kind of people, the passion you can feel. And I feel that people feel the passion that I have for Wisco Bourbon, just like Jeff has for Scotchy Bourbon Boys too. So like when you have a passion for something, you have a drive, you have almost unlimited energy. Now I will tell you that at times, it's the grind, right? There's certain things you have to do that are the grind, but when you do the special things, and you do the things that you can bring joy to other people, that's what keeps me really going too. You know what I mean?
Well, I think Greg, and I think you agree. It's like there's a certain, it's work, but at the same time, it's not the definition of. It's not like you're going out there and physically doing physical labor and beating, and building a house or doing plumbing or gardening or whatever. This is, I think we all kind of get off on the aspect is while we're doing what we want to do, we're meeting people, and it really comes down to, I always feel that the bond is the whiskey, is the bourbon and the whiskey. But the reason why you're doing it is it allows you to meet people who appreciate life's and their ethics and the culture of people who drink bourbon in a tasting, enjoying, relaxing way. And you meet these people, it's just like you become addicted to the aspect of all of a sudden, instead of just having a couple friends like I did before, you all of a sudden have, and I'm sure in your case, Greg, probably hundreds, and it's not just, but you know, you being in the industry for so long also, and just keep meeting people. That's one of the things. When you meet people, you draw off their energy. So if you're, you know, everybody's having a good time, and they all really have a bond of, you just like you said, salt and earth type people. Everybody has very similar views and on life itself. It's just, and so it's such a great thing to do, that I just keep finding myself where, you know, like Greg was talking about each group and how we promote it, and he goes around to a lot of groups, and he does a lot of tastings and meets a lot of people, where it's the same thing, but we meet the people within the industry. And that's the same thing. What I love, you know, whether it's meeting you setting it up for me to meet Jimmy Russell for the first time, and Jaretta was there, and meeting them and talking with them and having experience, or you know, hanging out at the Bernheim Forest with Sandy No for an afternoon, or her taking us to Abraham Lincoln's birthplace. I mean, those are all the things that are the primary, and then the secondary, although it's very good. It's what I love it. It's the bond, actually. It's the glue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, very, very well said. I mean, and without, you know, as Wisco grew, like, people are like, how can I help? Because they believed in what was happening. You know what I mean? So like, without all the people, like most of the people I brought to Kentucky with me this past, you know, April, you know, without Joe and Dario and Dan Gall and Tyler and so many others, with Wisco, I could not do it myself. And people may think that there's all these people behind the scenes. As you can see, it's me in my basement right now, and this is basically one of my working areas. But like, I work full-time job, and then I do this till 10, 11 at night. Usually I have meetings, so I talk to today after work, I went and met with the owner of a couple restaurants. And then on the way to that meeting, I talked to, and on the phone, the CEO and the founder of Kentucky 10. His name's Larry. I just talked to him today. So people reach out because they want to be part of it, because they see how much it helps. You know what I mean? And it can be a very symbiotic relationship, and a very mutual. It can be great for both sides of everything. And then the friendships that you build out of everything, that's lifelong. That doesn't, I mean, if this ends up going away, you still have that. You know what I mean? So like, there's so much to gain from all of it, and that's where the passion comes from, and the drive. You know, if I'm getting down and getting buried with Wisco, you know, one of my Wisco friends will be like, hey, I'm coming over. We're going to knock this stuff out. We're going to do this. What do you need help with? And my events that I do, I've attended every single event I've ever done in person. I think we're up to 70 events so far, something like that. And people just come and they just help because they just want to be part of it. So it's amazing. Without that army, I couldn't do it. So
Yeah,
it's really,
gosh, I mean, oh, true. You got such a great support group. I mean, the guys you mentioned, whether it's Joe, Dan, Dario, I mean, Tyler, you got such a great support group, and you guys are expanding as well. You know, you got the podcast that kind of evolved through Wisco, and you guys are taking to a whole new level as Scotchy Bourbon Boys has, and so you're lucky to have that. But everybody, you know, it's genuine. It's not fake. You guys are very passionate about what you do, and passionate about the industry. So again, I appreciate that.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I you know, Greg will tell me sometimes his schedule. He's like, I'm even his vacation schedule. And then he's always exercising. It's just crazy. But for me this week, I had a podcast on Tuesday night. We were live in studio with Four Dogs, which is a local distillery that just started. That they Kevin, yeah, Klein. Why would I think that's it? Yeah, I think that's yeah.
Klein, yeah.
Klein.
Klein.
Right. He came on,
Not,
and what was that?
not the actor. There's a Kevin Klein actor.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I was his last name is Klein. So anyways, so he came on, but then yesterday I had to get up at 4:30, get out of the drive down to Columbus, be down there by 7:30, hop on a bus, drive to Starlight, which you know where that is, Greg, with the state of
I do.
Ohio. With the
I know
group.
it too. Yeah.
We did a barrel pick, and there's picking for the state. There's always you're always tasting way too many, so it was good that we were driving on a bus. So we were back
You were
up.
at Hubers?
Yeah, we were at the Hubers.
Oh.
We were there with Ted and Christian, and just
120 my house. That's it.
yes, we went right by it. I know. And so then but we got there at about 11:15.
Yeah.
We got a tour, which was really nice because they really show you they're growing their own fruit, they're growing their own rye, they're starting to grow their own wheat. I mean, I've never had the experience of actually picking rye out of the field and looking at it directly before it's been processed. So we were doing that all around.
That's cool.
They're also a winery, so I saw Ted's house, and that house, he has a vineyard in his front yard, like physically this really nice house, and instead of like grass, it's a vineyard. He's got two different kinds of grapes, one on one side, one on the other, and it's just like the whole property. But then we had lunch, did the picks, and then we got out of there about 3:30, drove back to whatever. I think I got back out by 8. I was on the road from Columbus, another 2 hours, so I got home about 10:15 after whatever, and then back to work this morning. Had to get up at 5 o'clock and get to work by 7, and but that's the same kind of thing. And then what's awesome is that Stolen Wolf in Pennsylvania is doing a veterans special event where they've invited veterans to come Thursday, Friday, and Super Nash is there today, and then tomorrow, Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday they're going to do a fermentation, a mash, a fermentation, and then a distillation, and then they're going to fill barrels on Sunday. So I'm going to go down and drive the 5.5 hours to Stolen Wolf in Pennsylvania on Saturday, and then spend the night Sunday, do the bottling or the barreling part, and then drive back another 5.5 hours.
Yep.
All while capturing content.
a day in the life of a group or a podcaster. I mean, this is good content, because I don't necessarily, except your close friends and the people that really, really super follow you. I don't think people really understand what goes on in the background. Like, we're doing all this stuff right now, but you got to still fit in, and that's not including we're both married and we have kids and everything else too. So that part of it can be very challenging, but fortunately I have a very supportive wife and daughter as well. So and all my friends are like, what do you need? What do you need help with? So it's an amazing journey. We're still growing at a rapid rate, and it's just organic growth. I think what Greg said is just who you're seeing on screen right now. That this is who I am. This is who Jeff is. This is who Greg is. It's just three friends hanging out talking right now, and that's just what it's become, because that's just how things organically grew.
Yeah, it's exciting, right? I mean, that's the part.
Yes.
I mean, then after that's all done, then it's try to figure out how you're going to get the editing of the content that you just captured. How are you going to get that up and running? And sometimes it's really kind of, you don't really understand how, because we're live, we do a live stuff, we do podcasts, and our current stuff keeps going up. You don't understand how TV shows do it, or you know, it's not stuff that just happens. You know, some TV shows, you know, when they're airing, they're, you know, a year or 9 months later. It's not just
Yeah.
that is not the same way as the content that we usually create, which is almost instantaneously. So sometimes when I'm working on content, I feel you know, if you go to New Orleans Bourbon Festival in March and we're in May, and I'm going to be getting something done probably in June or July, when you air it there, to you, it's almost old news. But the people out there under, you know, they know it's not. You know, if you get something up that happened in March, it's really good to put the content out later so that next year it promotes it.
Yeah. Yep. And that's actually, so if anybody's watching right now and they're a Wisco member, reach out to me if you want to help with social media, because like that is very time consuming. I do what I can, but you know, that I can't even imagine the editing portion. I don't have any clue how to do that. I was doing YouTube videos and such, and my brother was editing them, but he is in basically one of the biggest cover bands in the Milwaukee area, and he plays like 40 out of 52 weekends. So like, and he has a full-time job. So he's in the same boat I am. He came over earlier this week, and we cut down 3 ash trees at my house. That's the first time I've seen him in like 2 months, because we had to like actually work as we were hanging out, because like that's just how it goes. So it's kind of nice to talk to him too, because he can relate to kind of how you juggle everything too. So
yeah, I mean, the editing gets better. It's easier than it ever was because I have it all set up and whatever. But at the same time, I just keep striving to do it better. And then it takes longer. You know, I don't know why, but you know, you're always trying to up the quality of your content, I guess.
Yep, absolutely.
So, so what do you guys got coming up?
So for Wisco Bourbon, we have actually I formally took over Wisco Bourbon myself April 1st. So I did have a partner that was involved, one of my best friends, Dan Peterson. So he quit his full-time job and he has a firearms business. So he is now doing that full-time, and he just didn't have time anymore, and he was doing all my IT and all that stuff. So it was just a mutual agreement. We're still completely awesome friends. He travels a lot now for work, but formally took over Wisco April 1st of this April. So I basically took April off as I had to transfer the website and form a new LLC and all of that stuff. So that being said, we did take our trip down to Kentucky mid April. We did 3 barrel picks when we were down there. So we did a Yellowstone pick with Mr. Steve Fonte, if you know who he is. Wow, what an amazing guy. That's an experience. And then we were at Peerless, and we did a Peerless pick, which is apparently, I think, one of 2 picks in the state this year or something like that for Peerless. I could be wrong on that exactly. And then we also did, of course, we did the Chicken Cock 6-year pick with Mr. Schneider. So we were very busy when we were down there. We go the weekend of Wing Thunder over Louisville. So that's kind of the precursor and the start of the parties for the Kentucky Derby. And then shortly after I got back from that, we had a Kentucky Derby party with a local distillery, J. Henry's.
J. Henry, awesome
at
place.
J. Henry, yep. We did it at a local liquor store here. So they did a derby party at the farm, and then we kind of did a satellite one featuring their products where we raised about $3,300 for honor flight to send veterans to Washington, D.C. So that was awesome. And then coming up next week, we have a blind tasting event at Natty Oaks in West Dallas. We've done recurring events with them for several years now. So we do basically 4 whiskey blinds, and then a welcome cocktail, usually right around $45. And then nobody knows what they are until the end. I give them a cheat sheet with like 16 to 20 different options, and the 4 options that we are tasting are in there. It's fun to see what people are thinking, and then I reveal them at the end. And it's really fun to do that. And then a couple weeks after that, in June, we're doing a J. Henrietta event at actually the at Pops, which is the company that makes our popcorn. They also own a restaurant, so we are partnering up with them and doing a tasting event of J. Henry there. And then I am doing several events at Stillery in Richfield and Grafton, and then I have all kinds of other things in the pipeline. I'm trying to do 2 or 3 events a month through the summer, just to kind of keep people coming. And in between there, our 3 barrel picks will come in. We actually have like 2 or 3 other barrel picks in the works right now too. Nothing's finalized yet, but those so very, very busy. And then the product launches, like I said, with the 2 products that I'm doing this week alone, sold. I've gotten 5 or 6 different places on board with over 100 bags of the caramel corn already pre-sold. So that's really cool. So kind of diversifying a little bit. Now that our name is a little bit bigger, I feel like we are getting some brand notoriety. So I want to get some products in the market. The 2 products that we're launching, like I said, these 2 Rice Krispie treats and the caramel corn. And I know this is a shameless plug, but
what you're here for.
they are made with one of our Wisconsin distillery barrel picks. So that's really kind of unique and cool too. So so stay tuned, watch local retailers. I got 4 Piggly Wigglies in the Racine area that are most likely taking our products. We got a liquor store up in Wisconsin Rapids, Richard's Liquor, that's going to be taking them, both distillery locations. And then a Century in the Wapaka area is most likely taking them. So kind of spreading it all over the place. And then there's a meat market and like 6 Ace hardware stores in the Eau Claire, Chippewa Falls area that most likely will have our stuff too. So pretty exciting. So that's a whole new level. When you said how you said it, Jeff, how you want more. Well, I got more now, and I'm now knocking on the door of my supplier like, hey, I don't need just 6 bags of this. I need, so yeah. So it's exciting. It's all really exciting. And it's something completely new with the products for me. So on top of doing the events, now I got the products, the barrel picks I keep rolling in. And then very, very cool. Heading back down to Kentucky in July. Very, very fortunate to have gotten a really nice barrel pick from down there. That's more of a private thing. But just the things keep coming up. People contact me, and it's really fun because I can help them as much as they can help me. So it's just great.
So what part of July? Well, is it the first part or is it the second? Are we lining up or are we not lining up?
July. I'm only going to be down there July. I gotta think about this. I think it's July 12th and 13th, which is a Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll be down there, and then I'll be back on the 14th, I believe.
Okay.
Are you the following week?
I'm there from starting. I'm going to probably try and, if it all works out with my wife, I'll be driving Wednesday night, be there on the 4th, but then be there through the whole weekend and that whole next week, which it's going to fall into when you're gone, but we can probably, it's only for a couple of days, so yeah.
Yeah, we can make something work, and it's only those 2 days during the week that I'll be gone. So we'll make something work.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's awesome what you got going. I mean, just keep doing a great job. As far as everything that you're doing, it definitely how you guys are running it and then doing. I see you on the podcast. The podcast is called Barrel Proof, right?
Yeah, it's called Barrel Proof Podcast. So there's the affiliation with Wisco Bourbon and Barrel Proof Podcast. So it's not it's not together per se, but it's people from Wisco Bourbon that started it. But that being said, the only affiliation I have with it is all of them guys are great friends of mine, of course. And then I do come on occasionally, and it's it's really fun for me. And usually, almost I would say once a week, I see one of those guys at least, and they're really supportive too. They come to most of my events. You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
broadcast.
Very
They
always,
broadcast.
Yeah, I mean, he loves being a part of it. I mean, you can tell.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So.
He's great. And when we went down to Kentucky, which was what was really cool with the 3 barrel picks that we did, there was only one of the 3 barrel picks that anybody really knew about. The other 2 were complete surprises that I kept secret.
And talking about, we actually went down and podcasted with Steven in his backyard. We went, and that was actually when you're talking about the fireworks show. What was the name of it? You said it.
Yeah, Thunder over Louisville.
Thunder over Louisville. We were there. I believe we were there Friday night. So that's the night we were there.
Okay.
So you probably saw. We were hearing the fireworks get set off, like they were testing the fireworks while we were podcasting. It was great.
Okay. Yeah.
We went to dinner at Pat. I want to say it's not Pat. It was the Irish restaurant right over there that he's been going to forever, and we took him for a steak, and I mean we just had it, and then you know my God, it's crazy. Bill Samuels, and the whole Samuels family was upstairs celebrating a birthday. And so Nash and CT decided they want to go up there and say hi. And then they came down, and it was just a crazy time with Steven and Bill Samuels, and so it was a lot of fun. So once again, what bourbon is, right, Greg? Yeah. It's just things just lead to just a lot of fun.
Yeah, we were very fortunate to have Mr. Fontaine when we did our Yellowstone pick. What a you will never ever forget if you meet that gentleman. And we're gonna try to get.
He forces you to pick away. He talks about how you're gonna taste it blind and everything. And when everybody votes, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. It's what everybody picks.
Yep. We are gonna do our best to get him to come to Wisconsin for that launch.
Well, that would be great.
If we gotta help pay his way, he's such an energetic character. And then Mr. Beam, who is he the master distiller of
Steven?
Beam?
He takes credit. I mean, he's been there and set it up. I mean, but they have different distillers and everything. I mean, but you would say Steven would, I mean, he's the face of Yellowstone.
Yeah, and it was pretty neat because just after we finished our pick, and Yellowstone's a beautiful place. If people haven't been to Limestone Branch, unbelievable, absolutely beautiful place. So the new tasting room that they dedicated to Stephen Beam just opened like a week after we left. So that we got to use that new building for our pick. And Stephen actually came. He had to go and do like a bottle signing or something in, I think, Frankfurt. I can't remember where, but he popped in for like 20 minutes and just talked to all of us, and just another just unbelievably nice guy,
business, yeah.
So yeah. And then we met the owner of Peerless too, Corky.
Yeah.
Corky. Yeah. Yep. Corky. And what a gentleman too, just like the nicest guy you can.
Did you have John?
John was out of town. We actually, I can't remember who he had on the pick. It was just one of their workers, but I met John last year when we went down, not this past year, the year before. We hung out with him for a while.
Yeah, he's great.
Super nice.
And Elena there too. Elena's great. I mean, they just have a really cool thing going on there. And there's Mr. Greg Schneider. We got light on you now.
I'm sorry.
We got light on you now.
I was outside and I had to come inside. Mosquito bugs were eating me up. So,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, your weather is a little bit ahead of ours up in Wisconsin, I'm sure.
Well, and we're a little bit ahead of you.
Lightning bugs are lighting up. It's beautiful out there. Mosquitoes are starting to eat me up, so I had to come inside. So sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. So yeah, it's just it's just interesting to kind of just talk through the evolution of, you know, not just who we've met, Jeff, but just kind of how things have progressed, you know, because I think our last podcast was probably what was it, a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago.
Yeah, right around a year ago. I think it was actually at
Yeah.
this almost, if any bit, a little bit over a year ago, but at right around
Yeah.
the same time. And yeah, definitely.
Yep.
That's how it.
Yeah.
So we okay. So anyways, it was. Hopefully, Greg jumps in to say goodbye. So
He's still there, I
Oh.
think.
no, he just all of a sudden, just 2 seconds. Just you see, he kind of left the. Okay, that's okay. So, anyways, I think we've got I think we covered it for you, right? And then
Yeah.
I think we should stay in touch about when I come. I would love to, just try and do an event with you, and
Yeah.
get my Wisconsin people. I'll invite them to it, bring them on
Yeah.
so maybe they can join. A lot of my friends, they're into bourbon because of me, but
Mhm.
they're more into they do the long distance Scotchy Bourbon Boys thing, but they're not aware of the groups. I tell them, but
Yeah.
it's but your group, there's no doubt you've grown it, and it gets bigger all the time, and just the people and the base. I love what you're doing.
Well, thanks, Jeff. I really appreciate it. I watch a lot of your stuff too. A lot of times I'm traveling, so I'm listening in the car, but you always have, it's just you're the same as I am. You're like how you're talking, that's just how you are. It's not, and if you don't know something, you're like, I don't know that. You know what I mean? So it's like I am nowhere near like knowing everything either. And I love to talk to people like Greg and all the, Steve Nally, all those guys, like those are the stories I just love hearing, you know what I mean? Because it's just so interesting to me. Like, they and somebody like Greg has been through, the entire, like,
He's lived the
Or-
history
yeah, he's lived the history. He's,
from the inside.
Yeah.
He's got the,
Yep.
he knows. Well, it's like anything else. I was just, he knows what actually happens opposed to the stories. I mean, it's just like he's just aware of it. So, I mean, there's, but everybody, we run groups, and it's really sometimes hard to deal with some people in the groups who just think that somehow because they go to the store, they know everything either about the your state government, your liquor agencies. They don't. They have no. It's the same thing. We are associated with OHLQ. We love the people internally because since I started, OHLQ initially was like very negative towards, and it was always considered negative towards alcohol because the taxes and everything. But they've actually, with putting Jim Canepa into the place to love bourbon, they've completely turned it around where it's a plus for us. We pick up stuff here for MSRP, and then we have a lottery for the really high end stuff that is fair for everybody. That type of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you gonna go?
Yeah.
All right. She's in bed?
Yeah.
All right. I'm almost finished. So my granddaughter came home. So
oh, nice.
but overall, it was just, what would you say? It's just such a great experience in all levels. But then when you know things, my favorite thing is like, well, they're not thinking. I'll just say to somebody, they're not thinking that, and they're like, oh yes, they are. They're doing this, this, and that. And you're like, no, they're not. It's not how they think. So you get a lot of inside information that, and that's one of the things I love. But then, you get trusted with a lot of inside information that you got to keep to yourself. And that's one of the
Yep.
things, because I'm a down home person. I'm not in this to, I have no desire to take somebody, to start tasting somebody's bourbon that they send it to me and then go on and trash it. If I get something I don't like, and they want me to talk about it, I'll still say that's my palate. You know what I mean? Just because I don't like it doesn't mean there isn't, 5,000 other people who will like it, because everybody tastes different, And
Yep.
those are the
Yep.
things, it's not a negative. I'm never looking for the negative spin. I'm looking for the positive aspect of this, because you can somewhat get maybe more notoriety, but I always like to be honest. I'm going to tell somebody if I don't like it, but at the same time, you gotta be true. And that's one of the things that I think, you do really well. I got to drink with you in last summer in your basement. You had tornado warnings again today.
We did.
I saw that.
Actually,
every time we get together, there's a storm.
I know. As I was driving home, there was a tornado warning, and fortunately, I was in Jeff knows Wisconsin, of course. I was in a suburb of Milwaukee called Brookfield, and I was meeting the distillery owner at a bar there, and people at the bar were talking about these tornado warnings, and of course, I was meeting with Sean, so I had my phone on silent and everything. I get in the car, and it's like, and fortunately, where I was in Brookfield is about 15 miles from Oak Creek, and that's where a lot of this stuff was. They actually saw a funnel cloud apparently. I'm not aware of anything actually touching the ground, but I basically came home, cooked on my Blackstone, cooked a quick dinner, and threw my Wisco shirt on and came on the podcast. So I don't know what's going on in the outside world right now until I go up, but I am in the right place in my concrete jungle.
Sheridan is watching, and she asked, do we sing after drinking bourbon? Well, if everybody else is, maybe. But then she also said, what are we drinking? And you're drinking your chicken cock private stack.
Yeah, and right before that, I was drinking one of my last bottles of a double oak pick I did back in, I think, 2021. So that was a really good one.
You let me taste that. That was good.
That's a good one.
So we got Super Nest.
What's happening, guys?
There you go.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, not a whole lot. Just got back from Stall and Wolf Distillery, hanging out with Amanda Bryant from Moonshiners.
Oh, you suck.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah, got to meet her for the first time, and yeah, we just sitting there doing a little tasting. And Paul,
did you meet JJ
from behind the bar?
Was JJ there?
Nope, he's not in yet.
Okay.
He'll be here. He'll be up tomorrow.
He resides from Canton, initially from Canton, Ohio. So JJ, I'm looking forward to meeting him coming up. I've talked to him quite a few. I've talked to Amanda, and looking forward to meeting her. And then,
she's looking forward to meeting you too.
So Josh, Nash is, like I said, he's at Stolen Wolf. He's a veteran, and they're doing this whole distilling, teaching the moonshining distilling aspect, and he's going to get to actually do it. So, I'm going to go down there and meet with them, and I actually will bring you the sample of the old stubborn so that you have it, because everybody has the old stubborn now. Once I get you that, Nash, and I can bring.
Cool.
When I come up in July, I'll bring you some of that too, Josh, because I don't know if you've had that. Ed Blay is just.
Oh, I haven't.
Oh my God, it's good. I'll bring you a sample of the wheated and the rye that just got released. I mean, it sells. It's a $250 bottle, and it sells out like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just saw today that they did a second release just starting today. Brad posted it today that they did a second release of that because it was in such high demand.
Of the gold?
Wow.
He blended it again?
Wow.
Well, I think they probably had some that was the bottles that were stuck back, and so they went ahead and released them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, that sounds like a really cool experience. And you said you're a veteran?
Yes, Army veteran.
Thank you very much for your service. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yeah, the co-founder.
My dad was a career service veteran, which he spent 23 years active duty,
Wow.
two Vietnam tours, one Philippines, one Korea. And those 23 years active duty was split up over all 4 branches. So,
Wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
yeah,
well-
he's been a career.
Yeah, well, I'm a huge supporter of all the veterans and law enforcement, firefighters, all that too. I'm a nurse actually for a living too, so really appreciate your service. And my uncle's a West Point grad. Did a tour in Iraq for Desert Storm, and then I have one of my best friends is Lieutenant Colonel in the National Guard too. So really means a lot to me. We try to do a lot of charitable stuff for our veterans too. So really means a lot to me.
I appreciate their service, and I appreciate what you do too. Appreciate your
Yeah.
service, what you do too. That means a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a great service, and like I say, a lot of times what you do goes under the wire and maybe not so much recognized as what it should be. So I do thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
I'm
it.
gonna thank you too. So yeah, you got to talk to my wife a little bit, I think, last time when we were there, and
Yep.
her being a midwife, you were interested in how she did that so that was a kind of a cool thing. Actually, to speak of my wife right now, she is delivering a baby. It
All right.
started out at home
Ah.
and it transferred to the hospital, but they're getting close. So she's like, I haven't gotten the born thing. I usually get a little. She sends it with a little. So I haven't gotten that notice, but yeah. Oh, so
Awesome.
yeah. So you're. So that must have been fun. But you did Alan ever get back to you on Facebook too?
As soon as I got off with you, Amanda walked in right behind me and sat down at the other end of the bar, and we recognized who each other was. And like I say, we got to talking, and then Paul started breaking out some awesome stuff. That 1971, he's a big Michter's decanter collector, and
Yeah.
he started breaking out some Michter's, a 1971 that he had. Then we got to taste a distillate that they did.
I collect them too.
Oh yeah,
This is Jim
Yeah.
Beam. I don't have any Michter's, but
I got a lot of Jim Beam that came from my dad there, Josh. If you've been noticing. Yeah. Oh yeah. Old granddad. There you go. Nice.
1994.
Yes, sir.
I collect them definitely.
That was
Awesome.
from your dad, right? Correct, Nash. Mine's from your dad. That was your dad.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he sent me this one up. Now that's Beam too. He knows I'm an artist.
Josh, I had about 4 boxes full of old Jim Beam decanters, J.W. Dant, had a couple of old Ezra, had some couple of wild turkeys in there.
Yeah, they're so awesome. I live for them.
So being a
Me too.
decanter collector, are you down at Revival? Have you been to Revival?
I haven't.
You have not?
I probably shouldn't go there.
What? You shouldn't go there? No, you should go there.
Yeah.
Brad Bond's down there is fantastic. It's in Covington. So when I'm going down, there's 2 places I hit consistently on my way down or on my way back. It's Neely or it's Revival. And but Revival is just crazy. My wife has we bought this. It's not a swan. It was I want to say it's the waterfowl. It's a white bird, and it's
a goose.
Yes, it's a tundra goose, I think.
I think I have the same one. Is it a Jim Beam?
Yeah, and it's and then it's this beautiful goose, and then it's the bottom part is the decanter, the holder.
Yeah, it's like it's laying on a nest.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I used to have that. I don't know where it. I don't keep the empties, so I usually give them away at events and stuff because people really like them. But this is an unopened one too.
Oh yes, nice.
It's 175 months, so these are really.
Does Barbara Eden come with that?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I really do collect decanters, and I'm really, unfortunately, I need to stop collecting them because you can't drink them. Can't drink them as fast as you can. But like, just, I have a lot of them still like in the box and everything.
Yeah.
Like this is brand new. It's just new old stock, but
Yeah. I've
usually
got a couple of those too.
I have a rule that I can't have more than 3 of them open at a time, which seems like a lot, but when you have like 100 of them, it's not.
All right, so we can keep this going on Facebook and YouTube, but let's end it for the podcast right now.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on, Josh, tonight. As always, it's been wonderful. Anybody who's listening to this now know that when we go live, that once this is over with, sometimes it goes on. I mean, it just depends. So, anyways, give us a little plug for everything, Josh, before we leave, and then I'll do my thing. And
yeah, I'll do it really quick. Thank you guys very much for watching. We have a great partnership with Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Listen to all their podcasts. Appreciate being on. Jeff's become a personal friend, even though we're long distance friends. And we've only met once actually, but awesome. Look forward to doing more stuff with these guys. So wiscobourbon.com is our actual website that is not on Facebook. You can get all our products on there, merch and such. And then you can follow us on Instagram, Wisco Bourbon. And then we have a Wisco Bourbon page. And then Wisco Bourbon Club on Facebook is actually like the one you join. And then it's kind of, people can post in there the Wisco Bourbon page on Facebook, more just the business. You can find all our events at wiscobourbon.com. And all of our events are on the events tab on the Wisco Bourbon Facebook page and the Wisco Bourbon Club Facebook page. So again, thank you guys very much. Really appreciate the opportunity to be back on with you guys.
so on the website, can you pick up the popcorn and the Rice Krispie treats?
You can. Right now, currently, it's local pickup only. However, if you order, Jeff can pick them up and bring them to you.
From Ohio,
at least if you live.
Yeah, if you're in Ohio.
No, yeah, only if you're in Ohio. Otherwise, it's local pickup right now. We're working on some options for shipping to get in bulk so that it's we can get a good rate. But right now, local pickup only. We just launched them, but they'll be in a lot of different retail locations in the Wisconsin area, at least to start with.
Yeah, because once I start pushing that stuff down south, we're going to have some good shipping charges.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, the thing is, I can. They will drop ship it, so that is an option if there's big enough quantity.
How us Southern big boys like to eat those snacks.
Oh yeah,
especially when we're drinking our good bourbon.
You would definitely like this one.
There you go.
Bourbon infused.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Yep.
That is a crispy treat made for me.
Yeah, it's good. It gives you instant diabetes, guaranteed.
Oh yeah,
but it's good.
Sugar shock.
All right.
I love it.
Thanks, Josh. Remember, we're the Scotchy
Yes.
Bourbon Boys. www.scotchybourbonboys.com for all things Scotchy Bourbon Boys. And then also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X, and all the podcast formats, mainly Apple, iHeart, and Spotify. And Super Nash, why don't you take us out with the standard finish?
Good friends and good bourbons equals good times. Drink responsibly, don't drink and drive, and go out there and live your life dangerously.
Woo! Little Steve-O's gonna take us out.
All right. All righty.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
All right, that's ended.
Right.
Let me quick audio it, get it saving, and then we can talk a little bit. We still are on Facebook and YouTube, Josh. Just know. I've ended a podcast, like that, and if I don't say it, and it went south, and right afterwards, and the wrong people were saying the wrong things, and I was like, wait, and all of a sudden I'm doing this, I'm saving it, and I'm like, wait, what? Did someone say butt? I'm like, guys, stop! We're still on Facebook and YouTube.
Yep.
Not that you couldn't say that, it's the fact of who was saying it, it's like,
yeah. And you got,
it's like with Greg.
And you got a lot of followers, so you don't know who's watching.
Well, but also some people, you're dealing with more corporate people. Like we're going to have Connor O'Driscoll on June 6th with the Heaven Hill team, but we've gone through the channels, you know what I mean? It's like they're handlers. You got to go through there. You have to get it approved. So you got to be in those cases, you have to be on your best behavior. Now we have a guy, a podcaster, Whiskey, that's on from time to time, and he's about bad behavior. And not that I care. I mean, it's Whiskey, right? I mean, you're supposed to be able to swear. You're supposed to be able to relax and be yourself and give each other crap. And, and it's like, if you keep the swearing off for the first 8 minutes, YouTube doesn't flag it. But if you're swearing right off the bat, they'll flag it as advertiser unfriendly. I look at my limited ones, there's a couple of them that got limited because it was before I monetized. And all of a sudden, the other day I pushed on it, and the ad, it's supposedly, not friendly for all advertisers. And I push on it, and it's the NFL. I'm like, really, guys? Yeah, the NFL is advertising on my site. And I'm like, what are you talking about limited? You're just trying to rob me of money. So, yeah. So it's funny. Did you get any pretzels or chocolate along your bourbon and rye or any bourbon or rye? That's Walker asking you on Facebook.
No, not today. And I don't know whether I will tomorrow because I'm going to the distillery early in the morning. The stuff don't start till late tomorrow afternoon, but it's like Amanda said, she's going there early to start setting up and all, and Alan and all of them's going to be there early. And do you remember? Oh gosh, is it Joe Reiner or Josh Reiner from the New York distillery?
Are you talking about last shot?
Yeah, last shot.
Okay. Yes.
I just met him tonight. He came in.
And then
he came in and he was came in straight in and was talking to Amanda and then introduced himself to me because I was sitting right there. And I was like, well, I'm with the Scotchy. Oh, yeah. I was just watching the other night. Oh, yeah. You know what? Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. And it's like, there's going to be a ton of people here that I know that I haven't actually met in person. And this is going to be a pretty wild weekend.
I'm driving 5.5 hours to see you and them because I knew this was going to be some cool shit. I mean, I just think I think there's a show. I think it could be between my Starlight pick. The Starlight pick, guys, there was so many barrels. It was like, oh my God, Toki barrels. Four Roses Starlight finished in Four Roses barrels. I mean, the crap that's going to be dropping is insane.
What'd you end up picking? Can you say?
We ended up picking a lot.
Oh,
all I can say is that we were on the bus down. They were like, because you're picking you got to understand when you're picking with OHLQ, you're picking for a whole state. You pick one barrel for a whole state. You want to know what? 200. Let's just say it yields the high 220 bottles. Just like that's like the highest you can get out of a barrel, right? 220 bottles across the whole state is like each liquor store getting a quarter of a bottle. It's just like
so nothing can be private labeled.
What do you mean by private label? Like you're
like if Scotchy wanted to do a barrel pick in Ohio, like you
yes,
can do that?
I could go down. So when you do a pick through the state of Ohio as a club, you basically tell the state of Ohio you want to do it. They hook you up with, so you know how the distributor reps are throughout, they got Heidelberg and there's a bunch of different reps that you deal with. In the state of Ohio, the reps are completely and totally not needed because the state does their job. But when it comes to a barrel pick, that's where they come in. They send you to them, then you get in contact with the distillery, and then between those two fashions, they set up the pick. You do the pick, then you gotta because I have inside people at the state of Ohio, you gotta stay on it. You just have to stay on it. It's like, I'm gonna tell you, like the Heaven Hill pick, in my opinion, Heaven Hill doesn't one barrel. They really don't. They do the barrel picks. They want to do the barrel picks, but in the reality of the whole scheme of things, whether you got that barrel or not, it means almost nothing to them. You know what I mean? One barrel. What does that mean to Heaven Hill? What do you right, Josh? I mean, they sell millions of barrels.
Yeah, yeah, and then they got a private label for them to do that than to just release their barrel proofs and all the other stuff they do.
Right, and then it's more costly because they have to have a whole team separate for that.
Right.
But honestly, in my opinion, you like we did the Elijah Craig pick. I mean, that's just the ultimate of marketing when you're a podcast group and then you tell everybody about Elijah Craig 50,000 times that we did a pick for Elijah Craig. And then people are like, when they walk in the store, they're like, oh, there's Elijah Craig. It doesn't hurt them. It's more with us groups. That's more marketing than it is the actual barrel. And like I said, that's why they just to get it to the right place. I mean, it got to it so many times. The last time we had it arranged because of the fact I was using a Dayton restaurant, which is 3 hours away from me. I had to go in that area and drive there, and we did the release pickup at the restaurant, which was great event. Lots of people showed up, but I was on the morning of after all the delays, and I was supposed to be able to pick it up on Wednesday, and then I couldn't pick it up on Friday, and then when I went there to pick it up on Friday, I wasn't sure we were gonna be able to pick it up and do it. I just had no confidence, So, but I had all the help of everybody. That I know in OHLQ, and everything worked out, and but it still was a long time in the making.
Yeah, there's picks in Wisconsin, but some of them I can get them turned around from the day I pick, whether it's samples or I go in person. I can get them turned around in like 4 to 5 weeks.
Well, I was told on this current one. Now, do you do them all through the state of Wisconsin, or do you also sometimes go down? I mean, does Wisconsin have all the bourbons that you're picking?
Yeah, I've only done that one. I've only picked one barrel ever that I had to pick them all up from the distillery, and that was very early on in Wisco. That was Nulu Prohibition Craft Spirits before it was distributed in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only time that I ever had that occur. And everybody, you know, I just purchased the entire barrel through Prohibition Craft Spirits.
Yeah.
And you know, it was a long day because I went down there and came back within like 32 hours or something like that. And for Louisville 7.5. If you don't stop, you can get there from Milwaukee. You can get there in 7 hours.
Yeah.
With no traffic. With no traffic.
And honestly, my cutoff is 5 is preferably, and everything from here. Louisville is about 5. Bardstown's about 5.5. Frankfurt's about 5. So, but what you call it was 5. Starlight was 5.5. Same thing with where Greg lives is about right around 5. Just like that's like the extent of where it's feasible for me to go down and come back. But anything longer than that is just kick your ass. You know, you're
yeah. Well, I'm going down to do that pick in early July, and it's in the middle of the week. That's when they said the pick can be done. We can't change the date. So
yeah, we're gonna do chicken cock with the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. We're gonna be doing that pick. Just coming up here on June 3rd.
I'm gonna need all that. I have a friend going down for that. I need to get down. I know you've already told me. I can get. I know the VIP access and all that's kind of pricey, but you know that would be.
I suggest when you finally get down there, but it's so hard to get because it sells out so fast. I mean, it's a pain in. It's very difficult to get it, but I'm going to tell you, if you get down there, honestly, and we're down there, I mean, there's a lot of. Oh, but you guys are a podcast, right?
What do you mean? Well, that's Barrel Proof Podcast. It's really not my podcast, but I could easily have those guys come down or something, you know.
Yeah, but you get media passes.
Yeah, you can get media passes through
the festival. You request media passes. You can get up to 4 of them.
Yes.
And the media tent is pretty much VIP.
Let me correct myself.
Food and they have drinks and everything in there. I mean, it's all part of it.
Let me correct myself. Yes, I am part of Barrel Proof Podcast.
There you go. Yeah. That's what we thought.
No, get that group to go down to cover it. I mean, last year, Bikinis and Bourbon. I mean, I think she did it like 2 weeks before the festival. Requested the passes, and her and her husband.
And boom, had them, and she was there.
That's fantastic. The only problem is I'm out of vacation right now too. So like that's what happens when you have a day job and you're in Kentucky all the time. You know.
Yep. Oh, I know.
But it's that's something I want to go. I want to go to Bourbon Beyond. There's so many, whatever, Bourbon on the Banks. I want to go to that. Like there's all these
Bourbon on the Banks, Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Bourbon Beyond is you have, all I'm going to tell you is it's nothing. You have Summerfest, and at Summerfest the music is way better. Go to Summerfest and skip Bourbon and Beyond. Bourbon and Beyond is this big giant festival with some VIP tents set up for different bourbon companies, like the big guys. You know what I mean? But you know, but you can go to either the week after or the week before to go to Kentucky Bourbon Festival, and they're all there, but they're in the capacity where it's Freddie No and Fred. They're all right. The master distillers.
All the distillers, and they're walking around, talking, and you know. they're right there with you, you know, in the crowd. They're not separating themselves from anybody. They're right there with you, you know. And you know, you see, like I say, you'll see them walking from tent to tent. You might even see them
I'm
one
telling
distiller
you, Josh, if
at,
you come
at
down,
another tent, standing there talking, you know, and when you walk up, getting a taste.
and every year there's a new bourbon that's hot. Like the one year it was Curly.
Yeah.
Curly was like killing it. The stuff they were doing, it was just fantastic. All right, there we go. 10 o'clock, the baby's born.
Awesome.
But what I'm trying to say overall,
Cheers to Roxy.
is we know
Doing
the
Roxy
landscape.
doing her thing.
You got to plan on going. You're gonna that party
Yeah.
in Bardstown. We know all the bars. We know all. I mean, we know all the people. There's the big house for
The Volstead.
Cherry and John Spicer. The Volstead. I mean, we pretty much know everybody. So if you're there, it just turned. I mean, Antonio was there last year.
Yeah.
Really?
He was
Yeah.
selling
Antonio
this.
Freeman. Yeah.
I walked off with 3 bottles. You want to know what he signed? This one he signed beautifully, Antonio Freeman, right? But the other bottle I have, it's too tiny from free. He signed it from the name that Brett gave, that Brett referred him to. He goes, I don't think I ever signed an autograph as free. I'm like, oh, right. So I have it.
That's a collector. Yeah. Yeah. His stuff he's been all over in Wisconsin, obviously. And what is that? It's called 86, right?
Yeah.
And then, is it made by Luca Mari?
Yeah, Luca
Mariano.
Mariano. Yeah.
Luca Mariano.
You guys have that distributed to you. And we don't have that. And I'm trying to get that in Ohio. I mean,
and somebody that is a family member of that brand is in Wisco. Because they reached out to me once and like just said, hey, just so you know, I appreciate, you know, everything you do. And I see people that are posting their bottles and that's really cool. And
was it Francesco?
Yeah.
I think that is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not just a family member. He's the owner.
He's the owner. Yeah, he's
Francesco,
the owner.
he's a good guy.
Francesco is awesome.
I'll have to
Super cool.
I'll have to check back and see if he's a member. But do you guys have James? Do you have that James Pepper distillery stuff by you?
Yes,
Pepper?
we do get
Is that
Jamesy.
right?
Yes,
Pepper?
we do get Jamesy Pepper. I actually was at so it's funny because I was at the distillery and I got their second. So when we were at Bourbon on the Banks, they released the first bottle. You got it, Super Nash. That first special bottle. What is it? Distiller's Choice or whatever. But I tasted it and let Roxy taste it. She wasn't happy, but we went to the distillery on our way back from Florida in February this year. And when we stopped there, the second batch had just been released, and it's fantastic. And now it's been released in Ohio again.
That's right by Castle and Key, right?
No, Jamesy Pepper is in Lexington by Town.
Lexington, yeah.
So it's Jamesy Pepper, Broken Barrel in this old in the old Jamesy Pepper distillery, but not Broken Barrel, Barrel House. It's called Barrel House. And they just took the barrel room where Jamesy, it's funny because that building was where E.H. Taylor became the master distiller there. Okay. And then while he was, so Jamesy Pepper had a son and his wife. And he died. Jamesy Pepper died while Taylor was a master distiller and left the distillery to his son. But his son was only 13 at the time. So on his deathbed, he asked Taylor to run the distillery for him and his wife until his son was old enough and teach him. So he had just started when he passed. He had just started building. You're right. But then he had just started building Castle and Key in Frankfurt, which is Castle and Key is a lot closer to Buffalo Trace.
Yes, it's right by it.
Yeah.
It's very close.
Yeah, James
Yeah, just
Pepper's
a few
in
miles.
Lexington. So then there's those two in the old James E. Pepper building, but in that building there's this Godfather Pizza. There's an ice cream store. They've got this whole little complex, and then in the front of it is RD1, which is Barry Brinegar.
Yeah.
So those are
Renegade. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, but if you go out the street where you can see there's a main thoroughfare and you go across it, to the right is Town Branch.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is Lexington Distilling Company. But they're a brewery. They make beer, they make single malt, and they make bourbon. But they're way more into bourbon. I mean, way more into beer and single malt than they are bourbon. And they also make, we got to taste it at New Orleans. They make this root beer, this spiked root beer that is like absolutely to die for. So,
wow.
Hey guys,
you got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been up since like 3:45.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Yeah, great
Ash.
hanging out, and plus
All right.
I got an early morning go hang out with Alan Bishop and Aiden and all the guys, Eric Wolf and all at Stall & Wolf Distillery. So I'm gonna go have a blast with them. So I gotta get a few hours rest. All right.
Okay,
All right.
and
All
I
right,
can't
buddy.
wait. I
Take care.
can't wait to
Josh.
see you, man.
Hey, you too, Tiny. Have a great night.
Just make sure that tomorrow with Bishop and Amanda and JJ and Paul, you just send the torture pictures, okay?
I will be pounding you with pictures. It's gonna be great, man.
Congrats,
Wish you were
man.
here.
I'm gonna be there, so I'll be there.
All right.
All right.
Do I need to call you in sick tomorrow?
No. I need a day to work where I can rest.
I know what you mean, brother.
All right.
All right. Good night, y'all.
All right. Love you,
All right.
brother. Bye.
Cheers, everybody. Facebook, YouTube. Enjoyed hanging out with y'all for just a little while from Leiditz, Pennsylvania. And you'll see more of me this weekend.
All right.
All right. I'm out of here.
He lives in Pennsylvania, huh?
No. So you just hit.
Oh,
South Carolina.
Yeah, you're gonna come in. You want to stay a little bit longer?
I
was
figured
just-
out how to get.
Yeah, I was just in South Carolina. I was in Charleston, which is obviously my last name, but wow, what a beautiful city Charleston is.
Oh yeah, I live about 4.5 hours upstate of Charleston. I live in
Okay.
Anderson, South Carolina, near Clemson
Okay.
University.
Okay, beautiful state.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh
Amazing.
yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, I was just working down in Charleston about 3 weeks ago. You know,
Yep, I was
there.
there. I was there at the same time, basically. I was there. I think I went April 25th. I was down there.
Oh my
So-
gosh, I was down there. It was just like that Thursday or Friday, right there at that last week. Yeah, I had to go down that Thursday, and that Friday morning I was down there doing fire extinguishers at a chemical plant down
Nice.
there.
Did you stop
Yeah.
Beautiful
here?
place.
Awesome. All right, good night, guys.
Church. All right. Good night.
It's the old Wisconsin goodbye, you know.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's never leaving.
It takes forever. He's
You
still
want,
there.
you want me to make you a brandy old fashioned? I can't end
Oh,
you,
yeah.
buddy.
If I could ever figure out how to cut this thing off, there we go.
Yeah, you're usually there. I'm just gonna. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna mute you. There you go. Oh. Anyways,
Yeah, man.
so I know it's an hour earlier by you, but you probably have stuff
Yeah.
to do. Dario was there. I don't know if you know Walker, but Walker's a great guy. He runs around. He's in the military also. He's active military. He does training out of Fort Knox, and we've
That's
met him.
awesome.
Super guy. And like I said, it would be great. I think last year you had a whole group from Wisco Bourbon down there.
Are you talking about at Kentucky Bourbon Festival?
Festival? Yeah, they
Yeah,
jumped us
yeah.
like
There's
like 5 times.
Yeah, one of the moderators of my Discord channel. His name's Rory. He was definitely down there because he talked to you.
Yeah, you guys. They were. That was cool to see. But they, it's just wild, man. And the bottles you can get this year, it's even going to be better. I mean, the distilleries got their feet under them. Even the NDPs now can sell at the bottle store. So initially, the picks were
had to go through Justin's, right?
Yeah, but the bottle store was right there. And the 1 year, it was great because when we were VIP, so you get in early. So when the store opens, you're the first people in line. And when you're running the podcast, it opens early at 11, and then the festival is 12 to 6. But you get it in an hour. But I'm usually there about 9 o'clock. I learned last year with this special tent that you could get there. You get there and do your podcast with the distillers before it would open.
Okay.
But supposedly they're going to have 3 stations where you can podcast from that you won't have the commotion of the main tent. But I didn't mind. I don't know if you've seen anything, but I got my first interview with Fred No.
That's awesome.
I put it this way. I met him. I'm friends with him, and we've been at his house many times now. And because his wife Sandy is a really good friend, we talk.
Yeah.
We talk at least once or twice a month, and sometimes when it gets close, probably a couple times a week. And so we've been, at his house. So and Freddie lives right next door. But I had never interviewed him, and he did the interview, and I'm proud of that interview.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Really cool to see him and do, it's like, and then Greg got me with Jimmy. I told Greg I've almost met Jimmy 20 times, but never got to meet him. And he's like, well, what? So he basically right there texts Jimmy in front of me because he's got his number. And says the Scotchy Bourbon Boys are going to be here at this time on this date, and you should come and meet them because they're great. So it was, they opened up, and he said it would be between 11:30 and 12:30 on a Sunday. So we come walking in at 12 o'clock, and he never, Jimmy, so there he is. Jimmy's there in the gift shop at 12 o'clock on a Sunday with Jaretta, and normally they're not there on a Sunday. And I said, it's just an honor to meet you. And he goes, yeah, I had to come and see who's friends with Greg today. He goes, he sent me that text, and any friend of Greg's is a friend of mine. And I'm just like,
that's
holy
awesome.
crap. So it was really nice. He signed he signed my bottle of Rare Breed because Rare Breed was one of my first barrels besides Booker's. Booker's kind of got me into this. And it was, it's funny because that when I got in with Booker's, I was looking for kitchen table. It was 2019. You were talking about, we started our group in August of 2018. Okay. We started to get together with a bunch of guys, right? And in September, so it was a calendar first that me and a coworker just read every day, and then probably in about July of 2018, we were like, this is bullshit. There's no way that whiskey tastes like this. There's no way. It can't taste like creme brulee. It can't. We're reading Minnick's and Michael Beach's critiques on each day of the calendar. So we started buying bottles, and we bought Scotch too. We were buying Scotch and bourbon based off of what this calendar was telling us to buy. So we decided to have a group of people from work get together and taste the bottles that were on the calendar. And that was, and so, but September 21st of that year, which was my birthday, it said was Kentucky Bourbon Festival. And we're like, Kentucky Bourbon Festival. So I spent the whole year so in November, my wife said there was going to be a conference for midwifery down in Kentucky, and we should go to Kentucky Bourbon Festival. And I said, wait, how did you know about this? And she's like, well, the girl who sent out the thing about the conference and she wants me to speak at said Kentucky Bourbon Festival, is something to do. And so we kind of look, whatever. So I saved up, I swear to God, $5,000 between that point and all the way coming up. So I wanted to be able to go there and buy whatever I want. You know what I mean? I didn't want to.
Yeah, you should have had enough money for that.
Yeah, at the time. It's funny because the auction, the distillers auction, the first bottle of Pappy 15 went for $900, and I was in it all the way up till $850. I don't know if it would have went for more than that if I was in it, because when I did finally start bidding with somebody, it was for a Jim Beam, Booker's, Knob Creek, Baker's, and it had a little Lazy Susan barrel top and everything. And I was bidding, and I bid all the way up to like $2,400. And
wow.
But the guy that I was bidding next, he wouldn't stop. You know what I mean? So eventually I was like, that's a lot for that, okay? And the person who was really new about this auction was sitting in front of me, turned around and said, I'm so glad that you didn't pay $2,400 for that. That is not worth $2,400. I could get that to you, and we could go out and I could get it to you for $400. He's just like, so I was kind of grateful, but then everything else I didn't buy, but I was able to come home with as many bottles as I wanted and do whatever it was exciting, but it wasn't run by Randy. Randy Press is from Wisconsin. He's a Packer fan. He's a Cub fan too, because he lived in southern Wisconsin when growing up, but he's the guy that I think I told you this. He did the state fair. All those years when the state fair was starting to, change from just tents and everything and being a little, whatever, and started becoming more solid, permanent fixtures, that was all him. So then he eventually left and went to the Kentucky Derby, and he was the charge of security and of all the events leading up to the Derby. He would, because there's, Derby Day, I think there's 9 races. And then I think, and then leading up the day before was the Oaks, and there was 9 races that day, and then there's the day they show all the horses, and you know what I mean? He was in charge of that, plus running security for the Browns and the Bengals. So then he took over in 2000, after the 2019, he took over as president. And when I saw that he ran the state fair, I friended him on Facebook and started talking to him about bourbon. And we've been really good friends ever since. He goes fishing once a year with one of his best friends, and they go up to the northern Minnesota, so kind of like, I don't know, Michigan, northern. They go almost to Canada, you know what I mean? And they go fishing up there, and they kill it. That's for sure. That you got to go that far now, right?
Might be Lake of the Woods.
Yeah, so they go up there. So, but I've he's just a great guy, and because he has the Wisconsin ties, he loves Wisconsin. We went to a Packer game last year. Went to the Rams game. I can get tickets because I'm in recycling, and the paper companies are out of Chicago. They get tons of tickets to Packer games. If I want to go to a playoff game or whatever, you can give me tickets. They're decent too. But
Yeah.
but you know, it's like we went, and so that was exciting. That's for sure. But he's at the festival. And if you want to do media, it's just great. The whole experience is insane. It's one of the best. I mean, honestly, it's exactly what you want in a bourbon festival. This year they got a double decker tent, which downstairs they're going to have merchandise, and upstairs they're going to have separate cigar little areas where you can rent out for $75 an hour. I think it's per something like whatever, and it's like you basically smoke cigars and whatever. We're going to try and get Stephen Fonte up to that cigar lounge, and you know, but everybody is there. That's where 60 different distilleries, okay, with their master distillers there at different times, but also the people you need to meet, the little people or whatever, and then when you meet them, then that's how you make your connections.
Right.
And taste their whiskey.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a nice single barrel you got there.
Which one?
The rye.
Oh, somebody. Oh yeah, this is yeah. So this stuff is dropped all over the place now in Wisconsin, but I don't have my readers on, but I think this one is. They're all different proofs, but this one I can't read it. I think it's like this one's like 127 proof, something like that. But they have them as high as 131, and they were as low as $60 here. I grabbed a bunch of them, and then. You know, the chicken cock double oaked is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
No offense to Greg, and he doesn't set the prices. I think this product's a little too high. However,
100?
It is an 8.
What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 99, right?
It's I can get it at one of my local retailers, one of my partners for 90. That's retail. But he's some of the lowest prices around. But if I go to Kentucky and stuff, yeah, it's regularly 99. That's just what it is.
Yeah, MSRP is $99.99. Yeah, here.
It's a bottle. When I crack it, it's a little bit lower proof, so it's a problem because I just drink it down quickly. You know what I mean? Because it's so good.
Oh, I wish. Have you had 2XO yet?
I have. I've met Dixon Dedman.
Yeah, we just had him on the podcast. We picked up the Kiowa blend, which is pretty damn good. He knows what he's doing.
I haven't had that one, but I got a chance to. He was on the Barrel Proof podcast. He was at a bar only a couple miles from me, and I went there for the release. And super nice guy. He's very genuine, and I really enjoyed talking to him. He's just a really nice guy.
Think about that. He was an inn owner. So like,
right. Yeah.
You know, and him and Mark Carter know each other because they were inn owners. Mark Carter does Carter Cellars with the wine, and then he does Old Carter, obviously. And he's a great guy, man. That's been nothing but fantastic. Yeah.
Dixon was he was really appreciative of being there, and it was funny because the Barrel Proof podcast guys, you know, when they start, they're like, you know, how you have your opening song, they're always like, yo, 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 yo. And so Dixon gets on after listening to like their opening thing. And, you know, granted, we just met him. And so he sits down, puts the headphones on, you know, and has the mic going. And the first thing he says, so everybody's like, okay, what's he going to say, you know? And he's just like, yo, 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 yo. So he did the same thing, and it was hilarious. But yeah, it looks like my phone is just about to die, and I didn't bring my battery charger down with me.
That's okay.
But always a pleasure. Let's stay in touch, and as it gets a little closer to you coming down, we'll plan something.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
All right, we'll be in touch, brother. Thanks a lot.
All right, I'll end this, and thanks for coming on. I'll see you soon. All right.
Take care.
Yep, you too. Bye. Let's end this all right, everybody. Thanks for being on. Chicken cock. Okay. I gotta end this. We're gonna end the Facebook. Thanks everybody for watching tonight. Really appreciate it. Next Tuesday will be on again. Don't know, don't have anybody lined up, but I do believe I have Carrie from the Barrel Room Chronicles coming on, I want to say the 21st, which today is, yeah, so I believe it's next Thursday. Well, let me look at the calendar real quick. I can do this. I will tell you it is on my calendar. So where's that number? Oh my God. How is it? There it is. All right. Today's the 16th. So Carrie. It might be she did not say the 23rd. So I'm pretty sure then Carrie will be on Moynihan on the 21st. I wonder how I can tell. I can go here and look at her texts. Okay, let's see if I can get this. Right. Everybody. The other thing is check out Rosewood Bourbon. Jason Giles creating a Kentuckian bourbon along with Texas Indiana bourbon. Check that out. All right, let's see what happens. If I can find her. Oh, just look her up. And there it is. All right. I'll tell you the day. You want to know how I zoom up? All right, the 21st. So, yes. So, that is next Tuesday. So, join us for Carrie Moynihan of the Barrel Room Chronicles. She's coming on to promote her trip, I believe, to Ireland. It's one of her coming up trips. So, check us out then. All right. So, I'm going to end us on YouTube. Let's see. Live performance. Facebook. There it is. I'm first stopping on Facebook. Good night. Good night, Walker. Well, let's see. Let's see if Walker said anything before I left. Yeah. Cheers, buddy. All right. Now I'm going to end this on YouTube. Hope my granddaughter. All right, here we go. Good night, everybody. Goes right here.